Anyway, thank you, Bizmid. A big old shout out to Bizmid. If you guys aren't following Bizmid, so as a favor, check him out. Great guy, fantastic streamer, a huge supporter of the community. I just realized that when I wear my white hat, my gray and white hairs really show off. So the beans, I will say, smell very much caramelly. There's a lot of caramel smell in the beans, not so much in the coffee. It's there, but it's not like your very strong smell. And but it's the salted caramel really is very potent in your beans. I gotta say, I love the box art for this, or not box art, but the bag art for this, of the whole pinch of salt meme. It's fantastic. But this is a Bones coffee. You have to bleach my hair for gray. I mean, like, look at it. It's so, there's so much of it. I'm getting old, guys. But your beans, as you can tell, like that one, look at that one. That one looks like it's barely roasted. But, your beans, they do be darker and shinier than you would anticipate, being a flavor infused bean. No, I'm not going to eat the bean. But, no, I'm not going to eat the one under roasted bean. That's nice. I've heard that about you, Grace. But, for the Brian White. I will say it is a bit darker looking in the cup. Well, maybe not, now that we got the light to it. But when it's not on the light, it looks a lot darker than it was. I thought it was going to be, but this is medium roasted. And then the flavor infusion. Your tasty notes are caramel and sea salt, which should be delightful. Oh, it's a decent sized cup. I mean, ish. I mean, like this is the roast rate cup. All right. And then this is my big cup. So I'd say it probably holds 10 ounces. When you look at, when you compare them, well, because there's a lot less space in it too. But like I said, the salted caramel smell on the beans is very strong. It wasn't that strong when I was, brewing it. But, I mean, cheers. Coffee's coffee, right? Hey, Art. Oh, man, who's this old man? What happened to Pooks? No, I mean, I'm an old man. But cheers. And thank you again, Biz, for redeeming and using your channel points for this. It's got a lot more coffee taste than I was anticipating. The caramel is it's not very strong, but it's there. That's really cool. It's really interesting. It's been like 4 hours since I've had coffee. I was almost like shaken. I have had Black Rifle, yes. But the coffee flavoring, this is kind of like last week's. The coffee flavoring, or the coffee flavor of the, your flavor infused bean, is a lot stronger than I would have anticipated. It's hard to say. I'd have to look at the Discord. I'll look at it after we're done with the rating. But, it's a very smooth cup of coffee, again, as we talk about flavor notes and everything. Or not flavor notes, but as we talk about flavor infusion compared to your naturally flavored beans that come out with the roasting, you're not going to have those bitter cups of coffee. But I don't really, maybe a hair of the sea salt on the back end once the caramel starts to fade away. But the caramel is a very nice, subtle, a nice subtleness that goes through. I was expecting this to be like super strong caramel. But it's not. It's actually quite the subtle taste. I'm sad I didn't go off more salt. I mean, I can only imagine how you do that without doing with what like the bubblegum one did and just throw chunks of salt in it. I feel like that's the only way you can do that. But if you do it that way, then you have to worry about all the salt going down to the bottom of the bag, and then when you dump it out, you'd have salt coffee for the last batch of the bag. But I could see so Geek, I don't know if you're here for the bubblegum coffee that we did, but that's how they did the bubblegum coffee. They just had regular, now, you know, I wouldn't put it past that art, but is this, no, that was not. That was a very vulgar coffee company. But that was supposed to be next week, but I had to give Grace her points back because I could no longer purchase that coffee. And I apologize, Grace. I wish I would have known that it was going to be. Look, blame work. That's all I got to say. Blame work. But like I said, so you've got your like medium roast flavor, which is very lovely. And you know what I'm here for. But the caramel is a very subtle taste. It does overtake your coffee flavoring. And then it fades off into a little bit of a pinch of salt, if you will. But a fantastic cup of coffee, Bizmid. Honestly, you're probably looking at about like an 8, just because it's the perfect amount of flavoring and coffee tastes. Like you touch it, you drink it, you know, and you've got the coffee, right? You got the coffee flavoring that's up here, and the caramel slowly bypasses, and then as they both fade away, you just get this hint of salt. It's quite the combination. Thank you so much. I do appreciate you, and as I said before, everything you do, the fact that you come in here day after day, show all the love and support that you do, and hopping in the Discord calls when we're hanging out, playing Peglin, and for picking a nice coffee for me to drink. No, because I'm not a cream or milk fan. Yes, sometimes, Grace, sometimes. I've always been a black coffee drinker. I've never put sugar or creamer in it. I will every once in a while when I've got a sweet tooth. But more times than not, I just like, because I really like the flavor of the coffee. A nice bitter dark roast is the way to my heart. But yeah, it sounds fantastic. I was, like I said, I was not. I think Grace probably would have been right if it didn't have how strong of a coffee note that it did have. Because a lot of times with these flavor infused beans, you have the sweetness just overpowers. Ooh, that actually sounds pretty damn good, because I am not against putting hot chocolate mix in my coffee. It makes a nice little mocha. But the fact that it still has that coffee flavoring is outstanding. So there you have it. That is your roast rate for the evening. I do appreciate you all for being here. Thank you for stopping in. And let's get back to the game, shall we?